Hello YouTubers, this is Garrett again with another video. In this video we're going to be talking about this little Radio Shack TRC-443 Citizens Band radio that I got in a trade from a guy. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about just the features of the radio, and then I'm going to tell you about the problem that it had when I got it and how I fixed it, and I'll show you guys where the piece is that I fixed. So we're going to start at the bottom here. From left to right we have a standard 4-pin mic plug. So you can use any standard Cobra / Galaxy 4-pin mic on it. The mic I've got on it right now is just a little Superstar stock hand mic. I didn't make any changes to the way it was wired from when I bought it, and it works just fine. You've got your volume knob, you've got your squelch, you've got your RF gain, and your channel knob. It's got the style of channel knob where it's not analog. I guess it's digital and it sends a signal when you flip it, because you can turn it like halfway between clicks here and it'll change channels without you actually clicking the knob. And if you turn off the radio, bump the channel knob, and then turn it back on, it'll still be on the same channel. So over on the top here, it's got a pretty nifty looking meter. If you're used to, say, the Cobra style meters, it kind of looks like that, but it's got a little bit of a different font. With kind of a lime green background. It does not have an SWR calibration function on the radio, so of course SWR is not listed on the meter. It's got an A&L and a PA functionality here, and this is one of the neatest features I think about this radio, is these switches. They're toggle switches, like, you know, what you might see in a moving nuclear silo or something. And I really like these little toggle switches. I think they're pretty nifty. And then over here, of course, you've got your channel display and a little transmit light next to it. It lights up when you have your dead key. You can see the meter right there. Works just fine. So we'll flip the radio around here, and we'll talk about what's inside it. I'll show you how to fix the issue that it had, and we'll go from there. So you can see here we've got the radio taken apart. When you take the radio apart, be sure to be careful when you remove the bottom panel, because the speaker is actually screwed to it with 3 screws. And if you just kind of let it fall and yank on this, you might end up having to resolder the wires onto your speaker. You can see around the back here, there's the external speaker and PA jacks. And you can also see here that it does not have the Cobra / Galaxy style plug-in power cord. It's the kind where it goes straight through the chassis here and solders directly into the board. So I'm going to consider maybe cutting a hole here and adding a plug, because I hate it when the cord comes directly from the board outside the radio, because if something should happen and this gets yanked, you know, you're going to be yanking directly on this board. And also over time, you know, you can see that this one has obviously seen better days before it got to me. You know, these wires get cut and spliced as they're installed in vehicles over and over and over, and it's just easier to be able to plug and unplug a new power cord if you need to. On the inside here, looks pretty simple. There's not a whole lot going on in here. There's not too many, it looks like it would be pretty easy to work on, because you've got some room in here between components. Get some dust out of there. Now, whenever I first got this radio, it would send fine. You could key up and it would transmit, but there was absolutely no receive. The needle wouldn't move whenever there was somebody talking within range, well within range, and there was no audio whatsoever. But I noticed that if I held onto the front and I pulled back on this front panel and kind of flexed the radio, that the audio would come in. And at first I thought maybe it was the coax plug here. But after kind of testing around, I figured out that it was not the coax plug here. It was actually this RF chip right here. You can see relative to the back of the radio, you've got your coax input. You've got this little board here that runs side to side, and you can see all of the parts in here are labeled. And then you've got this first chip right here, this first little board, and it's labeled right there. It says RF1. That one right there had a loose leg on the other side of the radio. Let me get it flipped over here and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so this is the other side of the board. This is one of the tricky parts about troubleshooting boards and radios, because they're not usually labeled on the other side of the board. So you've got to kind of figure out where the component that you're wanting to check out actually solders through on the board. In this case, we're looking at the RF1, which is going to be these two sections of board right here. And you can kind of see where, well, maybe you can see where I resoldered them a little bit. I basically went through it with my soldering iron and just remelted the solder on each leg while the radio was running, which I don't normally recommend, but I wanted to see which one the problem was coming from. And when I got to the third one from this end right here, and I remelted it and kind of shoved the solder back up against the edge of the board here to where it make good contact, the audio came back in. So that's why when I wiggled the board from the other side, the audio would come in and out, because either just from over time, or maybe just the solder degrading, or something had caused that solder to just kind of pop loose from its connection on that board. So all I did was take my soldering iron, remelt it, and shove it back up where it was supposed to be, and that's what fixed the issue with the audio cutting in and out. You can see here that it does have a bottom facing speaker. It's got 4 screws on the side, and the mounting bracket is the style that only has one hole in it, like maybe a Cobra 19, but it's wider than that, so maybe for a Cobra 21 or 25, or maybe just one of those universal ones, but it does only have one hole in the side of the radio for a mounting bracket. So that's the basic overview of the Radio Shack TRC-443. I hope maybe I helped you guys out with a little something, kind of gave you an overview of this radio, showed you how to repair one particular issue that you might have with them. I apologize if I seem like I kind of equate or compare a lot of things to the Cobra radios, but most of, well, all of my personal radios are Cobras, and a lot of the ones that other people have brought to me have been Cobra radios, and so that's why most of my experience as kind of the new guy to the CB world has been with Cobra radios, and so that's why I kind of compare things to things I've seen in Cobra radios. But this is it's a good little radio. I've got it hooked up to my test antenna right now, and I've done a radio check with it. People said it sounds good, it receives well, and it sounds a little bit higher pitched and a little more, I guess you could say, metallic than say some of the bigger radios, but that comes with having a smaller speaker. But if you find one of these for a couple of bucks, you know, $10–20, and it works, I mean, it's as good as any other 4-watt CB radio. So so yeah, this is Garrowin. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions, feel free to post them below in the comments section, and I'll get back to you if necessary. And this is Garrowin out. Y'all have a good one.